And if I did the test right, I believe we are live on Facebook. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, people on Facebook Live. We're going to get started in 2 minutes. Stay tuned. We're on.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Got a nice sized group today. It must be the storm.
Yeah.
Hi. All right, Kanel, I say whenever you're ready, we're all lined up to go.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Well, good evening. My name is Kanel Broomstein, and I'm a business agent of IBEW Local 103, and I'm an electrician by trade. And I just want to thank you all for joining us this evening for the Tradeswomen Tuesday. So, normally we meet in person. Because of the COVID, we've been meeting virtually via Zoom. And right now, most apprenticeship programs are on hold currently from their regular schedule. So I would pay attention to each individual trade that may be something of your interest, or reaching out with Kate and just paying attention to their websites for the updates of whenever each individual trade will be accepting their applications or opening back up to their regular schedules. So Kate is the program director, and she's going to give you a little information about how to navigate through today's Zoom meeting.
Great. Thank you, Kanel.
Thanks, Kate.
Yep. So yeah, just a couple housekeeping things. We want to let everybody know that we'll have question and answer time at the end of the presentation. So if you can hold your questions until the end, or if you want them to be lined up to be answered at the end, you can type them into the chat box. The way that you do that is there should be a chat box at the bottom or top of your screen. That's a little bubble. You can and type your question in there. There's another way to raise your to ask a question is by raising your hand. So to do that, you click on the participant button on your screen, and then another screen pops up on the right that lists all of the active participants on the call, and then you click the button on the bottom that says raise your hand. Other things, this call is going to be recorded and it's being streamed on Facebook Live, so we just want to let everybody know that. And we're also going to ask that everybody stay on mute unless speaking after raising your hand or unless you're one of the panelists or staff here. So thank you so much, Camille. So you're on mute, Camille.
Oh, I'm on mute, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we missed all that.
Now we're gonna meet our tradeswomen, and they're gonna introduce themselves, and I'm gonna start with Mikayla Bradford, and she'll introduce herself, name and trade and how long she's been in.
Hi, my name is Mikayla Bradford. I'm 1121 Millwright, and I'm coming into the second year of my apprenticeship.
Thank you, Mikayla. We're gonna go with Angela. Your name, your trade, and how long you've been in.
Hi, everybody. My name is Angela Lormeus. In Local 339 in the Carpenters Union, and I've been in for about a month.
Awesome. Welcome, Angela.
Thank
And
you.
next we have Prudence. Your name, trade, and how long you've been in.
Sure. My name's Prudence Evans, and I'm in International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 4, and I'm going on my 8th year, and I'm a journeywoman.
Thank you, Prudence.
Thanks.
So here is Kate's information. Kate is the person that will follow up with any questions that you have pertaining to the trade or apprenticeships. And she'll be typing her information in the chat box below. But it'll be there throughout the whole meeting. So in order for us to continue to hear from you after today's meeting, we'd ask you to register at buildalife.org, and Kate will walk you through the process to let you know how to do it.
Sure. Thank you, Canal. So in order to show you this process, I'm going to have to stop sharing the screen for a second. But the first step is for everybody to go to buildalifema.org, which is our website. And while you're pulling that up, I'll walk you through the steps to register with us. It's really important that you register with us because that's how we're going to know that you were here on this info session today. And that's how we'll follow up with you about trade career opportunities. So we ask that you register. Let's see. Now we have another screen. We go to buildalifema.org. And then you click on the Get Started button and go to the form for women interested in learning how to become a union construction worker. And you click here. And then we're all going to fill out the form together. This is specifically a form for women who are on this call who want to get more info on trade careers. So please sign in. You do your first name, last name, your email address, your zip code, phone number, you choose your race and how you heard about us. And then for this box is really important. It says if you're signing in at Tradeswomen Tuesday, please type in the date below. So make sure you fill out today's date, which is 8/4/2020. And that's how we'll know you were here today. And if whether or not you have previous construction experience, you click submit. You should get a confirmation that your form went through. And then when you see the screen, you should be all set for registration. So if you missed any of those steps, do not worry. We'll share those steps on the screen again at the end of the presentation and make sure that you get registered. Or if you have any trouble at all, just let me know. We'll make sure you get registered. Now we're going to head back to the presentation. So let's see.
Okay, thank you, Kate. So now when we say tradeswomen, we're talking about union construction workers who mostly work on big commercial projects, for example, like skyscrapers, roads, bridges. The way you enter into these careers is to apply and get accepted into the union apprenticeship programs. So we'll go into details a little bit more about the apprenticeships. And even though most apprenticeship recruitments are on hold, when they are open back up, there will be in demand for more women workers. So here's a picture just showing a variety of different women in different trades. And many of them were in your shoes right now at a Tradeswomen event, Tradeswomen Tuesday event like today's via Zoom, but they were in person. So we like to use this as an analogy because, you know, we're not an Uber, we're the GPS, so we're not going to physically bring you there to each individual trade and pick the job for you. So we can point you in the right direction and if you get lost, we can always get you back on track to the path of your trade, your choice, your trade.
You want to look at the other one?
So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna circle back around, starting with Mikayla. And Kate, can you mute everybody?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna start with Mikayla, sorry. And could you just I'm gonna start with Mikayla and ask her, what is it that you like about your trade that you're in or
So
love?
what I really like about the trade that I'm in is it's pretty performance based. You know, the amount of work that you do and how well you do it is all, you know, based on yourself. You determine how much you work, you determine your relationships that you have with different companies, but there's so many opportunities out there. And you know, the out of work list really allows you to branch out when you're not doing anything else. So you kind of pick how much you work.
Thank you, Mikayla. Angela?
I think that I love doing something different every day. I love that I get to go to a different site every day, and you just you meet different people every day. It's very different from my previous job because I used to be a teacher, you know, teaching, you know, 5 years old and under. So it was totally out of my element, and I enjoy doing something very, very new.
Thank you, Angela. Prudence?
We may have lost her.
Prudence, are you there?
She may be on mute. She's still in the participant list.
Okay.
She had
Can
her-
you guys hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. One of the things I really love about the construction industry is the schedule. I love getting up, you know, before the sun rises and watching the sunrise, you know, on my way to work or while I'm sitting there waiting to start and, you know, leaving before the real rush happens and just being out in the elements. You know, I worked in corporate America, Wall Street for years, and this is just the way to go for me.
Thank you.
You all set?
Yep, thanks. Yeah. No, we went too far, I think. Can you?
Up.
Yeah.
Here we go.
No, back one more. Okay, there you go. So an apprenticeship program is essentially a combination of paid on the job training as well as classroom learning. So each trade has its own way of doing it, and you'll hear from these tradeswomen here about the individual trade. And I'm gonna pose the question again, starting with Mikayla, about your trade.
So our trade program has 4 years of an apprenticeship. We have school 4 weeks out of the year generally, and your third year you actually go to the International Training Center for Carpenters to do your rigging, and I believe it's Andy can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's turbine familiarization as well. A lot of what we learn is on the job. However, there is certain classroom hours per year.
Okay, thank you, Mikayla. Angela, even though you're just starting out, but.
That's okay. I'll give you the information I know so far. So I start my classes in September. It's going to be drywall, the intro to metal framing and drywall. But it's a 4-year program. You go to classes once a week, every 3 months. Typically, they said it's from Monday through Thursday, and Friday is like a makeup day if there's like a holiday or snow day. Again, just like what Mikayla was saying, it's just like on the job, like teaching you what you're going to be doing when you go to work. But before you're allowed to attend the program, you need to attend a info session, and then they give you, the instructions on how to apply, and they actually give you a code so you can apply online. And the info sessions are first Monday of every month, and if there's a holiday, it's that following Monday.
So thank you, Angela. And Prudence.
So for Local 4, it's also a 4-year program. They meet Tuesdays and Thursday evenings after work from 6 to 9, and every other Saturday they have a field training on their site where you operate all the different equipment and learn how to do that stuff. And then they have like makeup days. But if you once you get accepted to the union, like say it's in the spring or the summer, you'll start working before school even starts, like kind of like I think what Angela's doing. So you won't start school till September. The school year is just like a regular school year, September through like May or the beginning of June, and you have Christmas break and February break and April break, all the same, just like a regular school. And then you're done, like I said, in May for summer break.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, Canal. I just want to let you guys know we also have Andy Benedetto here with us from the Millwrights, and then Liz Skidmore from the Carpenters. So if we could make this would be a good time for them to share any extra information they have about their trades apprenticeship programs. That'd be okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. And Andy or Liz?
Well, I could start. I think Angela covered it pretty well. Normal circumstances, you apply, you attend an information session the first Monday of every month. We just did our first online one yesterday. So it was shut down for a bunch of months. And we're doing it kind of as a pilot to see how it goes. But hopefully hopefully it will work, and they'll continue doing those the first Monday of next month. I don't know for sure yet if they will, because I just did it yesterday. But I'll put in the chat the website to check to see when it is. If they do it again, they had limited seating even though it was online. So it's worth checking this periodically. And if you're registered with us, you'll get an email with the information once we know. And that's it for me.
Figure out how to unmute. So I'm Andy Benedetto. I'm a council representative of the Millwrights. We're a part of the Carpenters, so our apprenticeship kind of mirrors that, where generally we have the informational session and then followed by interviews. It's been a little different with COVID. I don't necessarily know how that's going to be going forward, but I know we're still having our interview process, which is in January and July. You can apply on our website, easternmillwrights.com. That goes to our apprenticeship department. So your information would be sent to them. And when we do have informational sessions, or when we do have the interviews, the apprentice department will reach out to you. And just to clear up what Mikayla was saying, she was correct. As an apprentice, we have an international training center in Las Vegas. There's a 3rd-year apprenticeship program that you go out there for, and then gas turbine and steam turbine training, you go out for a week individually. That Mikayla pretty much hit on everything else, and as Liz said, we're partnered with the Carpenters, so we kind of mirror each other and help each other out. If there's any other questions after, you can reach out and I can get my information. Even though you apply online, you can reach out to the representatives and for more information, a little bit more personal, instead of just filing through a computer. Be a little bit more personable. Happy to help.
Where are we in the slideshow canal?
Okay.
Just a minute.
Thank you, Anthony and Liz, for sharing the information. So we're on moving on to 13, Kate.
This one. Yeah.
Okay, so here's a list of the different union trades that have the apprenticeship programs, and you can find a just brief description on each one of them at the website, again, at buildalifema.org/training and resources.
And our panelists here had planned to talk about some of the different trades. So if, we could go through, I guess, starting with Prudence. Tell us a bit about one of these other trades.
Sure. Well, one of the trades I'm kind of familiar with is the elevator constructors. They have a 5-year program, and again, meet several nights a week, and they have they make, out of all the trades, they're up there with the higher income. I think, if you're like a master electrician and then those guys, and then we're probably like under them, they're up in the top ranks as far as like, making, a higher income. And it's just a really great program. And they're also local 4, but obviously under that trade, International Union of Elevator Constructors.
Thanks. And then, Mikayla, you had planned to tell us a bit about what Millwrights actually do. You want to speak about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, a good portion of the work that I've done has been in the power generation industry. We do everything from precision laying of the concrete for the bases of everything, all the way up to turbine and rotor alignment. We do everything from paper mills to work. A lot of it's precision alignment, heavy rigging.
And then, let's see, Angela, you tell us a little bit about laborers and what they do, because you work with laborers on your job site.
Absolutely. Laborers are very hardworking group of men and women. They keep all the trades safe on the job by removing debris and hazards. They load and unload all the materials, dig trenches, backfill holes, build up and break down temporary structures, such as scaffolds, first and last ones on the job every single day. They're truly like behind the scenes heroes of every job. You're gonna see them everywhere, and they're very helpful, and they can literally, help with every single trade on the job. So it's a very humbling and hardworking trade up.
I see. Thanks, Angela. I'm gonna pass it back to Canel now, and then we can keep rolling through. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to know more about any of that, like Canel said, there's videos and descriptions of the different trades on our website. All right.
So here's a list of some of the trades that have a shorter training period. So other trades have slightly longer training and tend to have higher wages. These trades do involve a little math. However, don't let the math intimidate you. It's basic math, and we can get you test prep resources if you need it. When you're choosing a trade now, don't just go off of what someone has told you or what you've heard or what you think. You should read up on the different trades and talk about it to the people that are in those different trades so that you can make a decision that best fits you in your life. So here's a photo of some young women electricians who are apprentices at the time. And to my left, to our left, starting with the orange shirt, that's Azika, Najesti, Linda, Mary, myself, and that's Maria. So more and more women are joining the joining the building trades rather. And positions. This picture was taken about 4 years ago. And since then, Najesti is in the yellow shirt with the pink bandana. And she has now since then became a journeywoman, and then since then also has become a project estimator for a company. And
Wow.
myself, I have become the first Black woman to become a business agent for IBEW Local 103 in over 120 years. So, it just, oftentimes in the building trades, it used to be the fathers bringing their sons in. So more importantly now, moving into the future, we like to point out this picture, especially because, a lot of women are introducing their daughters. So, Ezekiel in the orange, her mom is also an electrician, and Linda's mom in the yellow is a carpenter, and Mary's mom is a painter. So we just want to show you that, it doesn't end with the tools. It's always upward mobility, and anything is possible in the building trades.
But you don't need to know anybody in the trades to actually find your way in. Like some of these women have been fortunate that they've had those connections, but Canel and I can do those connections for you. That's why
So here's a little information about Building Pathways. It's an unpaid pre-apprenticeship program. It gives you an overview of all the building trades and helps you pick the trade that best fits you. You can contact Kate for more information, or also on the website, which is listed here below, at buildingpathwaysboston.org.
Prudence, our panelists, like through the Building Pathways program. So Prudence, if you could say a bit about your experience.
Sure. Well, Building Pathways was great. It was really just an awesome gateway, introduction to the construction industry. Like I said, I'm coming from corporate America and, athletics. And so it got us, the schedule is just like a construction schedule. We were there at school by 6 or 6:30 in the morning, and we finished around 3:30 every day. We visited all the different trades. We were able to, ask questions and literally have like the entire day at each trades apprenticeship facility, our school, or their hall. And they showed us a blueprint and all of that stuff. It was just all around, well-rounded kind of overview of what you'd be exposed to. And then you were able to pick your top 3 choices, and they were super supportive and guided us through the whole application process. So I recommend it if you can do it. If not, you know, you could certainly, like I said, Kate is your next best or your first best gateway into the trades.
Thanks, Prudence.
So as we mentioned a little earlier, you know, the apprenticeship recruitments are on hold at the time, but usually different programs accept applications at different times of the year. So it's very important to pay attention to whatever trade that you're interested in. And I'll start with Mikayla and let her explain to you when the Millwright start accepting their applications.
So as Andy had said earlier, we are always accepting applications. More than welcome to fill online at any, but they start the interview process and pretty much vetting in July as well as either January or February. I can't remember, but it's always open. It's always on our website and can be filled out, like I said.
Thank you. Angela?
I believe Liz said that they're doing the info sessions online now. And I believe it's still continuing to be the first Monday of every month, right, Liz? If I'm correct or not. I think so.
We don't know. We just did our first
Okay.
one online yesterday. And I'm hoping that went well and will continue. We haven't gotten a decision from them yet. But again, if you register with us, we'll send you an announcement of when it does open up with any of the trades. And if you want to check for yourself, I put the website for both the Carpenters and the Millwrights in the chat, and you can check that anytime.
Prudence?
Sure. So local 4, like I was saying before, their schedule is September to the end of May, early June, but they start taking applications in November. I know they closed the school obviously for the pandemic, but they reopened the training center May 26th with a skeleton crew, but they are asking anyone with questions or new students or inquiries to call, and you were able to talk to Kim McLaughlin about setting up something. She may direct you to something online or something in person, but right now it's call only. And I have the number if you need the number for the school, the training center.
Thank you. So actually some trades are actually opening up soon or opening up now. And here's a list of some of them: the Millwrights, the Carpenters, what we just talked about briefly. The laborers have a date coming up on September 8th, 9 to 12 at IBW Local 103. They'll be doing their applications there. And Western Mass operating engineers will be in August. I don't know if there's a date. Is there a date for that, Kate, or point of contact?
There are dates. It's a certain week in August, and I can get those for any Western Mass person who I don't like anyone on this call is from that region, but I can get those dates for you if you want to apply to that. Engineers there, and the laborers are being accepted at the laborers local, all the laborers locals across the state. So anybody in any region who wants to be a laborer can apply on September 8th. You can reach me for those details as well.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with Mikayla again, and let's talk about some things that may be a little hard about the union construction, working on the job.
So for me, definitely skill retention, actually, because sometimes we're not always working. We work in two different seasons usually. We call these outage seasons, which are usually in the spring and then the fall, when the the need for power isn't high. So that's we're scheduled to work. So going in between jobs and doing different types of things, like different units and stuff like that. I'm constantly learning. Every time I go to the next job, I'm using some of the same skills, but they're not always used the same way they were previously.
Okay, thank you, Mikayla. Angela?
Being so new and being that I've only been in for a month, everything. But just because I haven't had any experience with any tools or anything like that, or ladders or impact guns, so literally everything that I'm doing at work is my first time. And they've been super patient with me, teaching me as I go. And like Mikayla said, I'm learning something every single day. And I think the hardest part is, like, once they teach you something, like they could just go off and do their own thing, and you got to do what they just taught you to do. And of course they're going to come check your work, but you got to be okay with them being like, this is a different way that you can do it, or this is an easier way, or that's not quite right. This is how you're supposed to do it. So honestly, you just have to be really driven and accept all challenges that come your way.
Thank you, Prudence.
Right. So one of the hardest things I think is pretty much the thing that I love too. It's being out in the elements. It's although I love it, it's really challenging. Like last week we went home twice early because it was so hot. I mean, it was just like over 100 degrees and people were like passing out. So it can be really challenging in that way. And obviously in the winter, when get sub-zero temperatures and you're working outside and you're trying to run equipment and your hands are frozen because your machine doesn't have heat. So those are really big challenges, and it can be dangerous. But again, you just you have a lot of support from your brothers and sisters in your union, and also the other trades are very helpful too. So yeah, you can do it.
Thank you, Prudence. Sorry, I can barely see right now. Next one, Kate. So here's a list of the minimum requirements. You have to be a minimum of 18 years old, legally able to work in the U.S., English proficiency, have a driver's license and access to a reliable vehicle, high school diploma or GED or high set, and pass frequent drug tests. So here's a slide. You can work on a union jobs or you can do drugs, but you can't do both. So don't worry if you don't meet all those requirements. That's okay, because Kate will be able to help you out and point you in the right direction. And then you can get back in touch with us, and we'll want you to become eligible for those requirements, with those requirements, sorry. So Kate will walk you through the next steps on communications after today.
Sure.
Thanks, Kate.
Now. Hope you like what you've heard today. If you haven't already signed up, you need to sign up with us on Build the buildalifema.org. That's what you hear from us moving forward. You go to the website, buildalifema.org, you click the Get Started button, and you find a form for women interested in becoming a union construction worker. Click that, fill it out. After you hit submit on that, you'll get an email sent to the email that you signed up with a link to a mandatory survey. We say mandatory, meaning if you complete the survey, you won't hear from you. Look out for that email. It says women in the trades in the subject line, and then that survey. And if you can't do the survey, you can always contact with me, and I'll get you the survey. And if you have anything that you heard, if it wasn't clear, or if you want to talk with a tradeswoman that wasn't represented on this call, please get in touch with me and do not be shy. And that's that.
We're gonna open up for questions.
We have a question from Christina Kaiser. Christina, you want to unmute yourself and ask your question? Christina, can you unmute yourself?
Should be on the bottom of your screen.
Sorry, I lost the screen for a second there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, so I've already applied. I've been waiting since January, but so I finally got the interview, and they sent me a letter to do the drug test, and that was like over a week ago. So I was just wondering if that's like normal to not have heard yet.
So do any of the laborers want to say how long it usually takes to get your letter back after you got to do the drug test?
I don't know if we have a laborer on today.
Hi, Kate. It's Leisha.
Yeah.
It's pretty quick. I just think it's due to the COVID. They're a little bit slow, but you should be hearing from them soon, Christina.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah,
Do you know if the training is open now?
The training is not open. It's not open. They're still closed also.
But some trades will send you out to work. Just tell them you're a first-year apprentice, and they'll work with you and kind of train you on the job.
Right.
So some trades are figuring out online classes. The carpenters have just started doing in-person classes with a ton of COVID safety stuff in place. And so basically we're such a hands-on, our training is so hands-on that it adds complexity to make it COVID safe versus just like sitting at a desk in a classroom. But I think all the trades are figuring out how to do it.
Yes, because Christina, the paper that you got from the lab, you have to take it to the class. They're going to ask you for it at the class. So you have to wait because they're closed. So that's why you probably haven't heard from them as yet.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Yaritza has a question that she just put in the chat, but if you don't mind unmuting yourself, go ahead and ask your question.
Hey guys, can you hear me? I have pretty bad
Yes.
service right now. Yeah, so I applied to Local 103 and I have an interview, but they postponed them until the spring of next year. So is there anything that I should be doing to prepare myself for the interview? I was thinking of doing building pathways, but I don't think I'll be able to do that with my full-time job right now.
They do have new schedules for pathways. I think they have new evening classes and stuff, but you can check that out on the website. Because I know they're starting to accommodate people because of it's hard to get there during the day for people who work.
Yeah, Building Pathways does typically 3 classes a year. And one of those 3 classes starting last year is nights and Saturdays, but I don't think the next class is one of those. But Canal, if you're still here, do you want to answer any suggestions about what to do between now in interviews to strengthen her candidacy?
So, I mean, the whole purpose of, I like to just say this first and foremost, because the whole purpose of apprenticeship program is to train you. So it's not necessary. So don't feel freaked out. However, if you do have the opportunity, I would recommend, not highly recommend, because I mean, if electrical is something that you want to do, or even if you want to just get your foot wet, I would either start with the non-union contractors or working at Home Depot in the electrical department, so that you can get familiar with the electrical tools and material, so that you would be ahead of the game a little bit. If you don't have any experience, I don't know where you stand, if you came from a trade school or anything like that, but anything that would make you, you know, have a foot in, having a little bit of background would help, but it's not necessary. That's what I just like, that's my little spiel on that. So, I mean, if you have the chance, or you want to, as you're working, you want to start looking into like some non-union electrical jobs to see if that's even this is even something that you really want to do, and even just get your foot wet. So they, you know, they'll be like, oh, you know, you're working non-union. They don't like that. So they would automatically, I mean, I can't say that, but that would definitely help you out a bunch. So either work a non-union somewhere, or Home Depot, or some electrical supply house. Even if you did that on the weekend, if you have a full-time job, you know, I don't recommend leaving a job that you've been at, I don't know how many years, but I'd recommend looking into something like that, maybe Home Depot or supply house of some sort.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. I think I might be able to do that.
Okay. And you can always reach out to me if you want, or whatever, or through Kate if you have any other questions.
And you read
Thank you, guys.
something that for your situation, and anybody, you know, if you have some day job already, and again, COVID is just a big challenge here. But sometimes just ask in your family circle, like, is anybody an electrician? Can I come be your helper on Saturdays? You know,
Right.
well, like, there's chances are good there's someone in your world who is an electrician and might be willing to kind of teach somebody in exchange for some help. And so some people have done that. And then this seems sort of silly, but there's a lot of really good videos on YouTube. And it's not as good as getting your hands on tools, getting to do stuff, but it will help you familiarize yourself with some of the aspects of the trade, some of the tools, some of the language for any trade. And I guess my last thought is dig into the 103's website. Really like look into like their Facebook page, their website, so that when you go to your interview, you can say something like, oh, I saw on your website that you guys have endorsed Kennedy, and that's really exciting, or what, you know, whatever it is, like pull something off of the website so you know you can show them that you've done sort of your homework about what you're trying to join.
Got it. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
And there was one other question somebody had asked about, sorry, it's way up in the chat. I didn't write, wanting a contact. Oh, Cynthia King. Looking for contact info from operating engineers local 4. And I think the best way to do that is to just email Kate. And anyone who's looking like to talk to a Canal or me or Mikayla, like anybody who's in the particular trade you're interested in, if you send that request to Kate, and her email is katecte@gmail.com, she can get the right person to you.
Okay, thank you. I also had another question for Prudence,
Yes.
if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely.
How long did it take you to get into Local 4? Like, did you apply several times, or did you?
Well, I went through Building Pathways, which is, you know, pretty much a sure shot, and it just like going through Kate in this program is a sure shot. I mean, it's just really a higher chance if you have this kind of reference and recommendation from these, you know, women's groups and kind of, you know, pre-apprenticeship training groups. But yeah, I went through the pre-apprenticeship program, which was several weeks long. I think it's 6 or 9 or maybe 12 weeks or something like that. And then right after that, we applied, and it took, like I said, I didn't start school right away, but I got in within a year. And I started working in that summer, and I didn't start school till the fall. So it doesn't take long. Once you're finished, you know, applying, whoever, if you have Kate group backing you or Building Pathways backing you, it's not long at all. I mean, obviously COVID-19 is changing things, but I just got word from one of the kids I went to school with, who's also now a Journey person, and they just put 12 new hires out. So, you know, although COVID is happening, business is still booming. You know, it's just things are kind of on hold, but they got a lot of bids out there, so they need bodies, and they want women.
Is this something you can tell me to strengthen my application? Or because I have some experience doing heavy motor equipment. I've driven a street sweeper. I've driven a front end loader.
Oh,
I have dump trucks.
You're good. You're
I
good.
have
You're
my
good.
license. I have a horseman license and all these things. But I applied, and I for some reason I don't know. It's very difficult for me to get in there.
It is difficult just because, you know, historically it hasn't been a woman's thing, a woman's game. But you're on the right track now, because you're hunkering down with a bunch of women who are, you know, have got solid footing in the women, you know, in the construction industry, and this is the way to go. You know what I mean? So just stay involved with Kate and or Building Pathways, or whatever you choose. If you're already working, Building Pathways probably wouldn't work, but you know, Kate will definitely get you where you need to be. If you have any questions for me, that, you know, I'm happy to help as well. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you should be great. You're welcome. You don't need any, just so you know, you don't need any licenses though. Just like she was saying, you don't need any licenses at all. They train us right at the school, get your CDL, 2A, 1A, 3A, 4A, all the right at the school. You don't need it, but if you have it, it's awesome, but you don't need it.
Okay, cool. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I do have it though.
Yay.
Okay. Thank you.
Good luck. I look forward to seeing you.
Me too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Does anybody else have any other questions? If you don't want to speak, you can put it in the chat box.
I see a hand raised. Angie Cardona, a Carpenter sister.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I want to excuse myself. I didn't know I had my camera the other way. I thought I had it facing me. I just noticed a while ago. I'm sorry. But I also had one of the sisters was asking what they can do in between before they get in the union. I don't know if it's like try to gain some experience. I would thinking volunteer opportunities and Habitat for Humanities, House of Heroes, Wounded Warriors. You know, they help build homes, and maybe especially Habitat for Humanity. Maybe you can find out when the electricians are gonna be going in to do some work, and you could try volunteering. I mean, you could do this on Saturdays or Sundays when you're not working.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. I'll look into that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I do a lot of volunteer work too.
Yeah, I do a lot of volunteer myself, and like when I'm laid off or I'm not in the field, I like going just to keep up with my skills. Plus, I also learned something out of the carpentry. I like when they're doing the tile, the electricity, all that, because you learn more, right? You get more. What I don't learn in the Carpenters Union, I'll learn it outside of the Carpenters Union by volunteering.
Right.
Okay. So we're gonna close up. I actually have to leave shortly for a Zoom meeting with someone mentioned earlier, but yeah, I don't want to talk politics, but I'm working on a campaign for Congressman Joe Kennedy, so I have a Zoom call with him at 6 o'clock. So I'm gonna probably go into it late, try to finish up with you guys. But Kate, you want to move on to the next one?
Yep. Is the presentation still up for everyone?
No, see you.
Oh. Oh, that's a problem.
It says type one word in the chat box, describe how you're
Oh, you
feeling.
see it? I can't see that. What am I looking at?
It still says it.
Okay, there you go.
So,
So there you go. Type one word into the chat box to describe how you all are feeling right now.
Cool. Awesome. Right.
warm, anxious, supported, hopeful. Last, excited. Optimistic.
Awesome. Anxiety is freedom, so don't worry about it.
So that's all great. While everyone's still here, before we keep moving and before we lose Canal to her other meeting, can I ask everybody to turn on their camera so we can see your good-looking faces and just celebrate the fact that we had such a great group tonight, a good turnout. We had 2 pages of Zoom, but normally it's like
wow.
That's
awesome.
If you could turn on your camera, if you'd like, we'd like you to, and smile or look not miserable.
Hey, you may want to stop screen sharing and then you get the full pictures.
Oh, I see. Let's see.
And then if you put it on gallery view, you'll get more faces.
Oh yeah, still, I think it's still 2 pages. We got a really big group, but that's good. It is a better view though. Alrighty. So I'm gonna have to do 2 rounds of. Still waiting for some people.
I don't know how to do it.
Where I'm hot and sweaty. It's okay.
Say start video. I don't know how to do. Am I on?
The button.
Okay.